We are certainly living in a big moment for American history. Just 11 days ago, former President Trump, the target of an attempted assassination days before the RNC. And about 72 hours ago, President Biden sending shockwaves through the Democratic Party, announcing he would exit the race. So today, many Democrats rallying around Vice President Kamala Harris, now the presumptive Democratic presidential candidate. And to discuss all of this, ABC News Vice President and Washington Bureau Chief Rick Klein joining us live from Washington. Rick, thanks for joining us as always. I'm almost kind of at a loss of where to begin, but let's start with Vice President Kamala Harris now replacing President Biden at the top of the ticket for the Democrats. So aside from needing to pick a running mate, what are some big items on her campaign's to-do list?
Well, she's got to define herself to the American people. She has to put together a convention in just a couple of weeks. Of course, you mentioned the vice president. And she's got to also figure out what her policy positions are. Frankly, for a while now, the Biden-Harris ticket has been defining where that is, and that starts with Joe Biden. Now she's on top of the ticket. She has to decide what her positions are on a bunch of things. So I think things have been upended in a significant way. And as she moves forward, she's going to have to figure out what she stands for and what kind of foot forward she wants to put.
And turning to President Biden now, and he's going to be delivering his Oval Office address this evening at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 here for us in Central Time. How important is this Oval Office address going to be for the now Harris campaign? And what are some things you're going to be watching for?
Yeah, I mean, this is one for the history books. This is legacy. This is thinking about, this is a speech that I think is going to be watched for a long time because we haven't had any president since Lyndon Johnson in 1968 get out of a race when he had the opportunity to run for re-election. And we are at this historic moment. It feels like a pivot point in American history. And I think you're right to point out that it sets up Vice President Harris and her campaign in a good way. We're told that it's not going to linger on politics. It's not about the Harris-Trump matchup. But of course, that's on everyone's mind. And this campaign that kind of was bouncing around for a long time has gotten really, really exciting with about 100 days out.
Right, and now kind of shifting to the other side of the ticket and to former President Trump and his running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. Recent reporting indicating the former president reportedly furious at having to start over now. So what does this new start look like, and was the Trump campaign anticipating this at all?
I mean, a lot of people thought this was a possibility, but they did build their whole convention and their whole campaign against running against Joe Biden. They're saying that the difference between Biden and Harris, that Harris owns everything Biden did, but the generational contrast that they were hoping for is now flipped on its head. Just to give you an odd little factoid here, Joe Biden was the oldest candidate for president ever as a major party nominee. Now that's still happening, but now it's Donald Trump who's the oldest ever, and Kamala Harris 20 years younger. So everything about this campaign, I think, has to be viewed differently. All the polling, all the assumptions, the battleground states, everything takes on a little bit of a different cast because we have different players.
Right, and definitely also kind of the Democrats possibly having the advantage in a way with having, the RNC already having taken place before Vice President Kamala Harris has to choose her running mate. Well, ABC News Vice President and Washington Bureau Chief Rick Klein joined us live from Washington. Rick, thank you very much.